And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Auska Shunkova, who during her near-death experience was given a task by an unlikely friend, which we're going to learn about and more. Auska, thank you for joining me and welcome.
Thank you. It's really awesome being here.
Well, we're happy to have you. And if you don't mind, let's start on the day that you died and go from there.
Sure. So it was actually at the exact strike of midnight that I died, and I was in a deep coma from an intentional benzodiazepine overdose. And I was having this dream about my fiance and a future kid that we were going to have potentially. And we were just like laughing and playing with the kid. And then all of a sudden, the dream while I was in the coma was like starting to get quieter and darker. And I tried to hold on to the dream because clearly I didn't want to like leave my fiance alone because she and I rely on each other. But I knew at that point that I had died and there was no way I was going to be able to hold on to it. So I left, so I let go, and then I was in this pitch black room with nothing but a single candle that was lit, that was on the coffee table. And so I approached the candle, but the boots I was wearing were not making any sound on the floor at all. There was like no sound. And so I knelt down by the candle and I stared into the flame. And from there, I kind of went into multiple places at once. One part of me went to visit my fiance and say, hey, this has happened. And if we're not careful, we're going to lose each other forever. And then another part of me went to my original, I can't remember the name, sorry, religion. That is animism with spirit animals. And I call that Shansi's Kingdom. And my spirit wolf turned me down. And so something really unusual happened where Satan actually invited me over for a cup of coffee. So I went to talk with him. And he's actually not a really bad guy. He was saying, look, I've heard some things about you. Let's talk. So I told him that my fiance's mother was spreading all these lies about me doing like murders and things. And he was saying that he had rumors about him too, and he really wasn't a bad guy. All he really wanted to do was share the truth of the world. So before I came back, he said to me, look, let's give it some time. And if it absolutely sucks, I'm right here. And before then, before I came completely back, he gave me the task of clearing my name from all the lies that had been spread. It's going to be a big task, but I think it's possible.
And so what happened next? You woke up from your coma?
I went back into the dream that I was originally having with my fiance and the kid. And that lasted for what felt like 30 seconds. And then I just woke up with a breathing tube down my throat. And I was tied to the bed because apparently I was trying to take my breathing tube out in the coma.
Your story is pretty fascinating because you basically died while dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
When you left the dream, was it obvious that you weren't in a dream world anymore and that you had transitioned over into death?
Yeah, because I'm not usually that calm in a dream ever. And my dreams always have some kind of audio to them. But this was completely silent, like I had gone deaf. And everything was in third person point of view, like I were playing a video game or something.
So were you seeing your body from a third person?
I was.
Did you have
It wore the same clothes.
did it look physical or did it look kind of
It looked like an
translucent?
actual person.
Hmm.
Like I was wearing the same clothes I went to the hospital in. The only difference was I was wearing a fedora that I was not wearing at the time.
Now, you talked about your spirit wolf rejecting you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more about that religion that your spirit wolf is a part of?
So my spirit wolf is a part of the religion called animism, which is in regards to everything that exists in this world has a soul and feelings, and everybody has a spirit animal that guides them.
Would you say it's kind of like a form of paganism?
It kind of is, but it might be more of like, I guess, the Wiccan side of things.
Why do you think the wolf rejected you?
Because she said that, it wasn't my time yet, even though I was begging her, saying, look, I can't take this torture anymore. This is too much.
That makes sense. What did Satan look like?
He looked like a normal person. Um, he kind of looked like a stereotypical, like, I don't want to be like racist or anything, but like a stereotypical, um, more tough looking, but more gentle and kind Mexican guy who was wearing a black trench coat with a black fedora. And he spoke with a regular acting, like normal voice and accent.
It's interesting that Satan was wearing a fedora and you were also wearing a fedora.
Yeah,
Is there any significance behind that?
I absolutely love fedoras, and I'm a believer of past lives and remember some of my past lives. And I've always had a fedora in them.
When you were first in that room that was all dark with a candle, did you feel anything like love or stress or panic?
I was at absolute peace. I had no stress, no anxiety, no fear or sadness. I was just happy and free. And I felt like somebody's arms were wrapped around me, hugging me.
And that was your spirit wolf or Satan?
It could have been the spirit of my fiance because she is a medium and has the ability to do things like that.
Did she tell you after this event that she tried to visit you while you were in your coma?
Yes.
Did Satan happen to tell you what his truth is?
His truth is that things are always going to happen, good or bad, but it doesn't mean he caused them. It's just the human nature through evolution. And naturally, since we come from like apes and everything who are predisposed to be aggressive, we have those instincts too. And people are not always able to ignore those impulses.
Did he tell you how you're supposed to clear your name?
He didn't tell me specifically how to clear it, but he said to make it happen.
Do you feel at this point in your life you've cleared it?
Not yet. There's 500,000 people who believe all the lies and stories about me, including my future in-laws, like the entire family and everybody else. So it's going to be a lot of work.
Do you think it's even possible?
If I catch the person who's responsible for this in like a legal matter, because this person has committed serious crimes against me, I think it's possible.
So, after this experience, how did your life change?
Um, for one, my body absolutely changed. I used to be really articulate and verbal, um, a lot physically stronger, and a lot more bubbly and more patient with people. But now I'm like quicker to get frustrated. I can't do the same things I used to be able to do. Like I used to be able to do 50 push-ups, no problem, but now I just can't. And it's exhausting. Also, the more recent thing I've noticed is I feel like my soul is detached from my body, like controlling it from like an extension cord or Bluetooth.
Do you get a sense that you're outside of your body looking at it in third person?
I see things in first person point of view, but I'm flat and emotionless,
Hmm.
which gives me the indication of that.
Do you think that the way your body is now is due to the overdose or from the experience?
I think it's from the overdose because I had a serious damage when I did it.
Since this experience, have you changed your religious beliefs at all, especially in animism?
Yeah, I rely a lot less on animism and I rely more on Satanism and Russian Orthodoxy because Russian Orthodoxy are truth seekers, just like Satanism is. So they agree with each other and coexist.
Would you consider yourself a Satanist?
I would, yes. I don't do like the traditional practices of like um sacrifices or anything like that. It's more about like understanding the truth of the world and knowing that like if you follow and believe certain things that like the Bible says, it's going to cause you a lot of pain because for me, I'm lesbian. So that automatically makes me a sinner pinned to go to hell. So there's a problem right there. But also, I don't know which verse it is, but it also tells you to love your neighbor. But then it tells you to not accept an LGBT individual. So what if somebody you know is an LGBT individual and you are living that rule of the Bible?
Would you have classified your Satanist prior to this experience, or was it due to meeting Satan himself?
It was due to meeting him himself.
Since this experience, have the memories faded over time?
No, I've actually been getting more memories of
Have you noticed since the experience that you have any new abilities that you haven't had prior that could be considered psychic?
it. I've always had this like ability to like know somebody's true intentions or like how they're being and how they're feeling, but that's become enhanced. And I've been able to like sense when spirits are nearby, even though I can't really see them.
But you said you've always had that ability, right?
Right. It's just gotten stronger.
Oh, okay. Is there anything about your experience that inspires you?
Yep. As an atheist, I used to be afraid of death because I believed there was nothing else after that. But having that experience made me know there's something more after death. So I'm not afraid of it. Like I could like die right now and not having fear because I know what I'm going back to.
Do you get the feeling that there is God on the other side somewhere?
I'm not sure if he's there or not. Satan did confirm that he did exist, so I haven't yet seen him, but I do know about the saints of Russian Orthodoxy, and those I have more of a connection to than God.
Would you still classify yourself as an atheist?
Not as much anymore. I wouldn't. No.
You were in a dark room that you
Mhm.
had a candle, and then you went to multidimensional places. Was
Mhm.
everything in color or black and white?
Everything was in color.
Were there also colors there like you don't see here?
No, it was the same color spectrum.
And you had a cup of coffee with Satan, right?
Yeah, it was a vanilla coffee. He knew what I liked.
Were you like in a cafe or somewhere?
It was his strange looking like office with a large table with enough chairs to seat 8 people.
And was he sitting behind a desk?
No, he was sitting right at the round table and asked me to sit next to him, so I did.
I'm sure in the comment section there are going to be people that are going to probably comment something like, the devil's tricking you, or you're going to lose your soul, or something like that. Do you feel like
Yeah.
that could happen to you?
Honestly, I don't think I'm gonna lose my soul. I haven't sold it to him. He just said if just take some time and if it still sucks, then I'm here. But he let me go.
Hmm.
He's not as bad as people think.
I've had some guests encounter the Grim Reaper, and they
Mhm.
were positive or had positive remarks about him. But I think you're the
Mhm.
first person that has said they met Satan.
Mhm.
Do you feel that Satan himself could be like some other fallen angel or an extraterrestrial?
Well, I believe that he was somehow related to God, and something happened, and Satan was cast out of the heavens and was told to rule the underworld.
Did he tell you his story?
I don't remember it in full detail.
Once you came back, were you happy to be back or were you angry that you were back?
I was pretty angry that I was back,
And how
and I
long?
still am,
Why are you angry?
because I've just been done with my life for so long because I struggle with depression, and I haven't received good treatment for the majority of my life. So I just figured, I just might as well be done. And
Do
I'm
you,
still waiting for people to like do good things for me.
what about your fiance?
She and I are going through a hard time right now because um her mother is the one that started all the chaos and made us both mentally challenged. So we have been in a harder time, but we're trying to patch things up.
How long ago was your NDE?
It will be 2 years this February.
Do you feel that you're still processing it?
I am definitely still processing.
Well, besides your NDE, you are also an author, and
Hmm.
your book is called Hidden Miracles.
Right.
Can you tell my audience what your book is about?
So what my book is about is this police officer in New York City with clinical depression who just goes about their everyday life and just thinks it's just kind of like law, because even if you're on antidepressants and you're treated and able to function well enough, things are still kind of just boring to you. And then they meet this 17-year-old who happened to be missing. They ended up getting legal custody of that 17-year-old. And a little bit later, they meet a 19-year-old street girl. And so they take her in. And they all just kind of become this big, like, little family that now understand the little miracles that family has to offer.
Do they find this book on your website or Amazon?
They'll find it on Amazon, but in order to find it, they have to use my legal name, which is Anastasia Tyson.
Have you considered writing a book about your NDE?
I have started writing an autobiography to help me like regain my memory, because when I came back, I had forgotten my entire childhood. The only thing I remembered was the night I took all the pills and then dying and then coming back.
Hmm.
It's been doing a little bit to help with it, but I was definitely going to add the NDE to it.
Well, after watching this podcast, people may want to reach out to you and ask you questions. Are you open to
I'm
that?
perfectly fine with that.
What's
I am.
what's the best way to contact you?
They can reach me through my Facebook. I have a WhatsApp, Instagram. It doesn't really matter where.
Should they find you as Auska Shunkova or Anastasia Tyler?
They'll find me as Auska Shunkova.
Well, before we finish up, can you leave us with one last positive message?
The positive message is there is definitely something after death, so nobody has to fear or worry.
Auska, thank you for your message, and thank you
Of course.
for being my guest.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.